Like you're always carrying an invisible weight, not a bag, not a burden, a script, etched into you before you even had a chance to question it. It says, be agreeable, be helpful, be good, and above all, be quiet. You were never asked. You were trained. Trained to believe your worth depends on how easy you are to deal with. That love is a reward for obedience. That to belong, you must first disappear. And so you did. You erased pieces of yourself to fit what others needed. You became the peacekeeper, the giver, the one who never made things too hard. You called it maturity. You called it love. You called it strength. But now, you're tired. Tired of being the one who always says yes. Tired of shrinking to make others comfortable. Tired of smiling when you're breaking. You've done everything right, haven't you? You've been kind, patient, loyal. You forgave when it hurt. You stayed quiet to avoid conflict. You bent so others wouldn't break. And what did it bring you? Not power, not respect, just exhaustion. Because the world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards strategy. It rewards boundaries. It rewards presence. It rewards the ones who know when to say yes and when to walk away without a word. And this is where Niccolo Machiavelli enters, not as a villain, but as a realist, a man who dared to say what no one else would. Being good isn't enough. Being effective is everything. He wasn't cruel, he was clear. He stripped the fantasy that virtue is enough. He told the truth most people are too scared to admit. The world doesn't care about your good heart if your spine is missing. If you've lived long enough, if you've watched your self-sacrifice get ignored, twisted, or used against you, you already know Machiavelli was right. You've seen it in boardrooms, in families, in friendships. It's not the nicest people who are respected. It's the ones who set the tone, who draw the line, who don't apologize for existing. How many times have you kept quiet when someone crossed your line? How many times have you smiled and said, "It's fine," when it was anything but? How many times have you swallowed the truth just to keep peace that wasn't even real? You didn't do that because you're weak. You did it because you were trained to fear being too much, too loud, too real, too demanding. But here's the cost. The more you silence yourself, the louder others become. The more you give without limits, the less you are valued. That's not pessimism. That's pattern. You were raised to be liked, but never taught to be respected. Machiavelli understood what most people still don't. Power is perception, influence is presence. And if you're always trying to be harmless, you'll be seen as useless. This doesn't mean becoming cruel. It means waking up. Waking up from the lie that your worth is measured in how little space you take up. That if you keep erasing yourself, people will finally accept you. That's not love. That's manipulation. And if this hits deep, good. That means you're waking up. You are not alone in this. You are one of millions trained to think that nice is the highest goal. That silence is strength. That patience is a personality. That someone would one day recognize your sacrifices and say, "Thank you." But they didn't. Because the world doesn't notice what doesn't make noise. And you were taught to whisper, so let's get loud in the way that matters. Not with volume, but with truth. Let's ask the question no one wants to face. What does your kindness cost you? If it cost your voice, your time, your identity, it wasn't kindness. It was fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being misunderstood. And that fear, it wears a smile. It calls itself goodness. But it's a prison, because the truth is, you can be kind without being small. You can say no and still be a good person. You can be warm and still hold your line like iron. You just have to rewire what good means to you. You weren't born a people pleaser. You were shaped into one, not by lectures, but by reactions. A cold look when you spoke too honestly. A quiet punishment when you tried to set a boundary. Praise when you gave in. Distance when you didn't. That didn't shape your opinions. It shaped your identity. You became the good one, the helper, the one who never disrupted. And now, you can't tell who you really are and who you train yourself to be. The world loves that version of you, the quiet one, the agreeable one, because that version never says enough, never asks for more, never disappoints. And when you finally break down, when the mask slips for a second, they call you too emotional, too much, dramatic, because they never really loved you. They loved the performance. Behind the smile is someone screaming to be heard. Behind the patience is someone breaking. Behind the kindness is someone terrified. If I stop being good, will anyone still love me? That fear drives everything. It's why you stay quiet when you're screaming inside. Why you accept crumbs and call it understanding. Why you betray your own needs and label it empathy. And the worst part, the people you do this for, they're not doing it for you because they don't have to. You've taught them you don't need much. You've taught them you'll always say yes. You've trained them. Every time you stayed silent when you wanted to scream. Every time you forgave without a second thought. Every time you smiled when you wanted to disappear. And now when you finally speak up, they panic because your silence made their comfort possible. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of change. It means your real self is waking up. It means the pattern is breaking. It's time to stop calling your silence peace. It's time to admit your kindness has been weaponized against you. And that brings us back to Machiavelli, not the monster you were taught about, but the strategist who saw clearly. People respond to perception, not intention. You can be the most loyal, thoughtful, moral person in the room, but if your presence doesn't carry weight, they will walk right through you. Because people don't respect your heart, they respect your spine. Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." That sentence, it's a sword. It means your intentions are invisible. Your goodness, your sacrifices, your care, none of it matters unless it's backed by presence and boundaries. Because if you don't say, "This is my limit," if you don't say, "This is what I expect," then you're not a person in their eyes, you're a resource. Something they use, something they drain, something that disappears when it's no longer useful. You were taught to be liked. Machiavelli teaches that being respected is survival. And respect? It doesn't come from over-explaining or pleasing. It comes from two things: clarity and consequence. If you say no and they know you mean it, that's power. If you draw a boundary and they know what happens if it's crossed, that's power, not cruelty, not ego, just presence, just truth. He never said to fake who you are. He said protect it. Appear virtuous when it serves you. Be strategic when it matters. Know when to give, and know when to cut the cord without guilt. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to be undeniably yourself, and the world can adjust or exit. He said a leader must be a fox and a lion, sharp and strong, aware and assertive. You can't just be nice, you have to be sharp. You can't just be forgiving, you have to be awake. You've spent your life proving your worth by being everything to everyone. But what's always available is rarely valued. And love that's earned through silence, that's not love. That's dependence. So here's the shift. Can you stop being the nice one without becoming someone cold? Can you reclaim your voice without losing your heart? Yes, but only if you stop believing the lie that you have to choose between kindness and power. You don't. You can be kind without being used. You can be generous without being drained. You can care without collapsing. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop abandoning yourself. That's the real transformation. Because people like you, the ones who were trained to be good, often think they only have two options: be silent and liked, or be honest and rejected. But that's a lie. The real choice is this: will you keep surviving other people, or will you finally start respecting yourself? Kindness is not weakness. Compassion is not submission. But when they come at the cost of your voice, your truth, your dignity, they are not virtues. They are weapons turned inward. So how do you stop being nice in the way that destroys you? You start with your voice, not volume. Truth. This bothers me. I'm not okay with that. This is my limit. Say it, not to create drama. Say it to end the performance. Then comes the boundary. The invisible line that becomes a wall, not a welcome mat. That says, I will not shrink to make you comfortable. Respect me or step back. Next, release the obsession with being understood. Some people will never get you. Some don't want to. They like the version of you who never pushed back, who stayed soft, who didn't rock the boat. But you weren't born to be anyone's life raft. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be whole. So stop managing impressions. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them leave. Your job isn't to be perfect. Your job is to be real. And when you do that, when you show up as yourself, truly, unapologetically, you don't just scare the wrong people. You attract the right ones. People who respect your strength. People who don't ask you to soften your voice so they can feel more powerful. People who don't mistake kindness for weakness, but recognize it comes with teeth. You don't need to be feared to be respected. You don't need to be cruel to set boundaries. You just need to stop explaining your worth to people who've already made up their minds. You don't need to apologize for existing. You don't need to keep proving your goodness. You don't need to earn the right to speak. The right people will feel your value. The wrong ones were never your audience. And here's something no one tells you. The moment you stop begging for respect is the moment people start offering it. Machiavelli wasn't preaching cruelty. He was preaching clarity. He didn't say manipulate people. He said, understand how the world works and play smart. You lead yourself first. You set your standards. You protect your energy. And if that makes someone uncomfortable, that's their problem, not your invitation to self-abandon. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this. You don't owe your silence to anyone. You don't owe your comfort for someone else's control. You don't owe the world a version of yourself that's easy to ignore. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be undeniable. This is your moment. You can keep playing the role, smiling, nodding, saying yes while you disappear. Or you can walk off that stage, take the mask off, and never look back. Because kindness without boundaries isn't love. It's self-erasure. And you're done with that. You're done with being everyone's emotional cushion. You're done with giving your time, your peace, your energy away like it's infinite. Because it's not. And the real you, the bold, full, honest you, is not too much. They were just too comfortable with you being less. So stop waiting for the world to see you. Start seeing yourself. Build a version of kindness that doesn't flinch. A version that sets the tone instead of chasing it. A version that speaks, acts, lives with purpose. If someone calls that selfish, let them. Because when you stop being available to everyone but yourself, you don't become cruel. You become free, and you were never meant to be anything less. If this message hits something in you, don't scroll past it, drop a comment, tell the truth. When did you realize being nice was actually hurting you? Someone out there needs to hear it. And maybe, so do you. Subscribe. Share this. This channel isn't here for noise. It's here for clarity, for power, for rebuilding your psychological foundation. We're not here to be palatable. We're here to be present, strategic, unapologetic. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Stop being liked. Start being respected. And above all, respect yourself first.